Hello everybody, welcome to my latest video. Well, on this one I'm going to put in the 2.5 gigabit network adapter into my wife's computer. The other night when I did the live stream, that was one part that I had left out intentionally because I sort of ran out of time. But I'm going to go ahead and put it in now. This is the Rosewill 2.5 gigabit network adapter that's going to go into this PC. It should be pretty straightforward. It should fit right into the extra slot that I have in there right now, which is a ×1 PCIe slot, without any problem. So let me open this up first and show you what's in it, and then we'll put it inside the PC. Okay, well this card is sort of inside a plain paper box. Not many frills to it, but in the back here it actually shows the Rosewill label. Ethernet adapter, 2.5 gig. I also have a 10 gig version of this that I will show in a future video in terms of opening it up and installing it. But for this one, we're just going to stick to this 2.5. So if we open it up, well, it comes with an instruction card, which hopefully I don't need. Gives the features on it, right? It has a DVD, which hopefully as well, I don't need it. Hopefully Windows 10 will actually, do the updates as needed. It also has a low profile connector. So if we're putting it into a low profile type of case, it supports that as well, and that's included inside the box. And then the actual adapter itself inside an anti-static bag, and it's pretty small. Not much to it. It's a ×1 PCIe card. Should go in rather easily, and the actual connector here actually says on it, let's see if we can see it in the camera here, it actually says 2.5 gig, and it has different lights to show whether it's connected to a 2.5 or a 1 gig. So that's all there is to it, really. Let me go ahead and put the PC here and install it. Take the glass off, and we should have a nice little single 1X slot available to us. And the slot we're going to put it in, this slot right here, this one available 1X slot that's available after installing the video card, which uses up 2 slots, and it's actually covering up one of the other 1X that is available on this motherboard. So all we have to do at this point is take off the screw back over here. Well, we got to open this up first so we can get to the screw. Actually, it looks like it's completely in the way, so let me take this out completely. This little panel here comes out, and that way I can get to the screw that's hiding in this corner here. We'll take that out. Very simple. Take the card, stick it down in there, into that 1X slot, push it in, and we'll put the screw back. And then I'll put this little piece of metal and the screw back to do the covering of these screws. Like that. And that's all we need to do. We have the card now installed down in there. We have the connector available to us. The connector is available right here. So one thing nice about a 2.5 gig is it can use regular, even Cat5a cable, as long as you're within about 300 meters, but it will definitely work with the Cat6 cable that I have installed here. The only trick is I have to go down and move the cable for this connection over to my 10 gig switch. A 1 gig switch will not support that at all. So let me go down there and do that now. Okay, the first thing we're going to do, since I have the cable plugged into the 1 gig connector, is move it over to the 2.5 gig. Now it's connected, but only the lower light is lit, which means it only sees a 1 gig switch at the other end of it. Over at my rack, I'm going to put a jumper. This one's connected to connection number 2 on my 1 gig switch. Take that one off and put a jumper cable in between that one, and then move up to my 10 gig switch and put it into one of the open ports up there. Now I actually see the right hand light blinking, which means it has connected at 2.5 as far as this switch is concerned. And then back over in the PC, the top light is now blinking, so it does believe 2.5. Okay, now let's test it out. I've opened up a command prompt, and I went ahead and installed a program called iPerf onto this PC. So if we do a dir, we can see the iPerf program is loaded here. iPerf 3, it's freeware. All you have to do is copy it and its config file over to your computer, the DLL. So those 2 files are the only one that's needed, the cygwini.dll and the iPerf 3. And then we just run it. You have to be doing it from command prompt, though. It does not run from a Windows. So iPerf3 space, we want to run it as a client. So you do -C. I already have my main editing workstation set up to receive it as a server. So it's waiting there listening on a designated port that's automatically configured in iPerf. So all I had to do is run it as -S on the other computer and it was fine. But over here I got to specify the IP address, which is, and you have to go over to that computer and do an IP config within also a command prompt to find out what that address is. So we're going to run this and see what happens. And there we go. It actually uses that port 5201 and it's running at near 2.5 gig, which is exactly what we were hoping to see. And that's it. Now we have a 2.5 gig adapter running at that speed on this computer that my wife normally uses. Well, that concludes this quick little video on the Rosewill 2.5 gigabit network adapter. I think it worked quite well. Of course, you have to have a switch that supports it. Mine is the Netgear one that I've done in previous videos that has 8 ports that support 2.5, 5, and 10 gig network adapters. Also, it supports 1, but it's sort of a waste to buy it for 1 gigabit. So you'll have to have one of those if you really want to up your speed of your PCs or servers within your network. But having that 2.5 gig is pretty handy, especially if you happen to have that same support on your NAS drive, your network attached storage, or another PC that you're just transferring files to. Now, one thing I do want to tell you that before I ran iPerf3 on it, I did do a software update through Windows, and it did load several files, and I couldn't catch whether one of them actually was related to the network adapter or not. It's always a good thing to do that sort of update whenever you put a new piece of hardware in, because it may be something that the driver is out there in Microsoft sites, and it'll download it automatically for you. In any case, as you can see, the iPerf3 worked fine. So in a future video, I will also do the 10 gig version of it that I will be putting into my new primary editing rig once I finish that build. So until then, even though the world crisis is winding down, still try to stay safe and stay healthy.